Alright guys, so our very last good citizen that we are going to learn about is Johnny Appleseed. Now I am sure that you have heard his name mentioned in different ways, but we're going to learn about him in ways he was a good citizen. So John Chapman was a real person who became a legend of the frontier. People called him Johnny Appleseed. He was born in 1774 in Massachusetts. In about 1794, he left home and he began walking west. So Johnny Appleseed was a real person, but his real name was John Chapman. I never knew that. John settled in Pennsylvania in 1797. He collected apple seeds from nearby cedar mills. John knew that apples were a good food that would last through the long winter. He planted the apple seeds on his land. Now you're starting to probably wonder, how is this making him a good citizen? How did he help people in his community? Let's see if we can keep finding out. Apple trees grew on John's land. John dug up some of the young trees. He planted new orchards with them. In the early 1800s, John moved to Ohio. He sold or gave apple seeds and trees to many settlers. So there's a really big thing. He gave or sold those trees to settlers. Back then, people didn't know that apple trees were a good thing that could last throughout the winter and a good food. So he was sharing his information. And not only his information, he was giving people the trees and the seeds. That's a really good citizen. He could have kept that secret all to himself, but he wanted to help other people. John moved to Indiana in 1838. He sold apple seeds and trees to the settlers. He helped the settlers plant orchards. John liked to read books. Sometimes he read to the settlers. He also told stories. So he was helping people plant those orchards and giving them information. And he was selling all of those apple seeds and trees. He didn't have to do that. John liked to tell stories about himself and his apples. He shared apple seeds, apple trees, and stories. Settlers gave him the nickname Johnny Appleseed. He died in Indiana in 1845. So what are the ways that he was a good citizen? Well, he knew that the apples were good food that would last during the winter. He shared what he knew and gave or sold his apple trees to many different farmers and settlers. He also helped them plant those orchards of trees. So he really helped them by giving them information and helping them plant things that would give them food during some of their hard times. So those are some ways that make him a good citizen, because remember, good citizens are people that help their community and help others in their community. So we've learned about quite a few people that have helped. So we have to think about how we are going to be good citizens and what we can do to help our community, like our families and the people that we're close to. And when we come back to school, how we're going to be a good citizen there. Because these are all people from our history that have made a really big impact and people that we remember. So we have to think, how can we be a good citizen?